The first mass vaccination of children against polio begins in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. U.S. Congress and Dwight D. Eisenhower founded the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado, and Elvis Presley's first single, That's Alright, was released by Sun Records. The year is 1954, and this Chevy 210 could be seen on any American street. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that digs classic cars. We dive in deep on the history, specs, design. We feature the classics, vintage, some exotics, orphan cars, engine episodes on Wednesday. If that sounds of interest to you, a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. This 1954 Chevy 210 is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, which is, just as the name suggests, it's a mall where instead of stores with products, its stores are filled with cars. It's a different and unique place that anybody can visit, with over 1,000 cars for sale when recording this episode. With Christmas coming up, get the gift that special someone truly wants. They have financing and shipping available. For more information, pricing, and pictures pertaining to this very car, be sure to click the link below after this show. Mark your calendars this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are doing a live event to reflect the year. I hope to see you there. 1954 Chevy model lineup. In the basement was the 150 series, followed by the 210 in the center. Bel Air was at the top of the full-size cars. Corvette was their sports car offering. Wagons, sedan delivery. They had a truck line going from half-ton all the way up to the big commercial. Chevy offered the 210 from 1953 through 1957 in two generations. 1954 falls in the first generation, which was produced from 1953 to 1954. 1954 Chevy 210 could be had as a four-door sedan, two-door sedan, four-door wagon, and two-door Del Rey. 1954 was more or less a carryover body design that started back in 1953, but there are a few things worth pointing out. So let's compare 1953 on top, 54 on the bottom. Starting in the front, badging on the nose has been completely revised. Bumpers are also different, as well as the grills, which sort of makes the 54 look a little bit wider. Turn signals have also been relocated on the 54. They're also different shaped, more oval on the 54 versus circular on the 53. Bumper guard shrunk on the 54, moving to the side profile. Very minimal trim differences, but at the front, there's a piece that kind of curves around at the top of the bumper section on the 54, which isn't on the 53. Hubcaps also appear to be bigger on the 54. Gas door trim on the 53 that isn't on the 54. Moving to the rear profile. The biggest difference between these two from the rear is the tail lights themselves. The lenses and the bezels are completely different. Crests are also different. Chevrolet script on 54 versus nothing on the 53. Moving inside to take a look at the dash, which both are pretty much the same. Options, automatic window controls, automatic seat adjustments, which was what they called their power seats and power windows. Power steering was also an option. Radio. Let's talk specs. 196.4 inches long, 75 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 115 inches. It weighs 3,350 pounds. Price, $1,715, which is equivalent to you spending $19,615.46 in the year 2023. Total 1954 Chevy production was 1,143,561 units, of which 523,222 were 210, and of that number, 235,146 were four-door sedan. Moving on to engine, which they only offered one engine, two flavors. 235.5 cubic inch displacement in line 6, 3.9 liters. It's good for anywhere between 115 to 125 horsepower, 4,000 RPM. If you got the 3-speed manual, it got 115 horsepower. If you got the Power Glide automatic, 125 horsepower. It made 200 pound-feet or 271 newton meters at 2,000 RPM with a bore of 3.6 inches and a stroke of 3.9 inches. Compression is 7.5 to 1, featured 4 main bearings. This engine is the first year that Chevy offered full pressurized oiling system on all of their cars. 1953 was the very first year they offered it, but it was only offered on the Corvette. 2 transmissions on offer, 3-speed manual or Power Glide automatic. 0 to 60 with the 3-speed manual was 15.1 seconds, with the Power Glide automatic 16.8 seconds. Theoretical top speed 87 miles per hour or 89 miles per hour with the Power Glide. Average fuel economy rating was 14.6 mpg or 14.8 with the Power Glide. And these are just baseline numbers. Mileage may vary. Let's talk styling. Look at these headlight bezels. Just look at all of the lines going around. Also notice it's not 100% circular. It has a part here that comes off and it connects to this side line that runs sort of like the top part of the belt line, but it only goes back to the front door, and another line right here that goes right into here. Turn signals and or running lights. Just look at all of the different layers going on the side profile, how this comes to a bit of a spine before exiting. There's a lot of different lines and intricate details in the grille and bumper situation. Just look at these overriders and or bumperettes or bumper guards. Chevy crest here in the center, as well as center line going up to this hood ornament. The hood is fairly smooth except for the center line coming to the hood ornament. Notice this car does not have a cowl vent. The windshield wipers are opposing windshield wipers, and they just connect right into the base of the molding that goes around the windshield. Just look at all the stainless. This car does have drip rails. Start right here at the base, and they run the length of the car. I absolutely love this cream and this green color. It goes together really well. Here's a better look at that line we were talking about just a minute ago. It also has belt line trim that runs the length of the car, as well as rocker trim. The wheel wells don't flare out, they're just rolled underneath here. Fender bulge with gravel guard. Just look at how that's designed. And it doesn't bulge out nearly as much as some other cars that we looked at. The rear wheel well is just like the front one, it's just kind of rolled. But notice more oval shaped. So notice this. The back glass is curved, as well as look at all the stainless around it. This little design. This car doesn't really have fins. You can count this maybe as a small fin, but I love these tail light bezels, how it overhangs just a little bit. The rear bumpers mimic the front bumpers, but it has this added overrider bar. Gas filler doors right here on the driver's side. Look at the side mirror placement. Also look at the design. So just look at this door panel. Look at all of the different colors going on. I love the stitching. It's a different color. Bright work to separate the different colors. Armrest, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window. Operates like that. Vent windows are crank operated with this crank. Just take a look at this interior. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. Underneath the steering wheel, there is tons of room to put my hand in between my lap and the steering wheel. We're size 36 pants. The only reason I show that is because a lot of these cars, the steering wheel is stationary, as in it doesn't move, and the only way that you can adjust it is to move the seat back. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Vent for your footwell, headlights, windshield wiper, speedometer. Notice 90 miles per hour is one way, and then 100 miles an hour and 110 miles an hour are flipped, so you can see the numbers better. Coolant temperature, gasoline gauge, left and right turn signal indicators, amp meter, oil pressure, clock, lighter, ignition, heat and ventilation controls. There are 3 sliders. The top one is for air control. Defrost, defog, and de-ice is for the center slider. The bottom slider controls temperature. Hot is all the way to the right. Ashtray, which is blended into the dashboard. Up above, there are sun visors, and they're on the big side. There's a rear view mirror there in the center. Another sun visor over right there. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Look at that. No problem at all. And it shuts. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It's really nice in this car. And that's what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. There is a nice wide parcel shelf. There is a dome light as well as coat hook on each side. It's got a robe rail for heavy blanket in the wintertime. Ashtray, knee space, tons of knee space. The seat profile, it does recline, and these seats are like cloth, and they're really comfortable. Super comfortable. Also, notice how the seat back kind of curves, so it kind of cradles you. The bench isn't all that wide. It's a very comfortable seating position. The transmission tunnel does come up kind of high, so it kind of separates both sides. Getting underneath the hood, hood release is right here. It's all one release, but if it gets up too far, then you have to push the hood back down and then bring it all up in one motion. 2 horns in the front. Just look at these massive springs that help hold the hood open. 6-volt battery there. Chevy inline 6. Oil bath air cleaner. Oil filter is in this canister outside of the block. Generators down inside. This right here is for a vent. The master brake cylinder must be in the floor. If it's not generally here, it's usually in the floor, driver's side. This is more venting ductwork. This is the heater. On the positive side, spacious both front and rear, full instrumentation, camera fits in the glove box. First year for fully pressurized oiling system. I know somebody will correct me in the comment section. 1953 was the first year for Chevy to offer a fully pressurized oiling system, but it was only available on the Corvette. 1954 was the very first year Chevy offered it on all cars. Parts in good supply. Engine parts are also readily available. Against it, overshadowed by the 1955 through 57, but I personally would rather have one of these. I think the Tri-5 Chevys are sort of overrated in my opinion. Anyway, now it's time for Would You Rather. Two scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1954 Ford Custom Line or 1954 Chevy 210 or 1954 Plymouth Savoy? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Moving on to the second scenario, 1954 Rambler or 1954 Chevy 210 or 1954 Willys Aero. Once again, gonna leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. I call it the After Party. It gives you the opportunity to share your rides, stories, experiences. Anything car related is totally a go on there. If you don't have Facebook and would still like to reach me, send me an email. All of it will be linked in the description below. Just know I appreciate everything that you guys bring in the comment section. And until next time, toodaloo!